Hello and welcome to another episode of Stephen and Stephen on Stephen, the episode where the podcast of episodes where Stevens climb onto beasts of burden named Stevens and travel the world on a caravan of wonders. I am one of the Stevens, Stephen Sparky Parker, and I'm here with a beast of burden, Stephen.
Exactly. Call me Steven. How's it going, man? I'm sorry to be late tonight. And what did you say to start the show off? Was this an episode, a podcast of episodes about Steven? That's the greatest segue ever. A podcast of episodes.
What is a group of podcasts? I guess it would be an episodes, but what's a group of episodes? Whatever.
I like
Anyways,
It's not a podkai. It's a pod. Whatever. This joke sucks. How's it going, man? Good to see you or talk to you again. This has been an interesting month, and obviously leading up to one of the most cryptically, I don't even know if that's the right term, most skeptical, no, that's not even the right term, Crystal Skull. I mean, one of the most argumentative, discussion-laden conversation pieces we could have about the great filmmaker Steven Spielberg. I'm pumped.
Oh yeah, I guess we're discussing. I got all set. We were gonna watch Warhorse, right?
Yeah.
That's what you're talking about.
No, are you skipping one? Come on, Steve. Don't give up on me, man. There's always it's always darkest just before the dawn. Remember that.
You didn't think we were going to do Tintin first. I know they came out on the same day, but no, we're talking about the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, and we'll get into it in a few minutes here. But let's start the show off like we always do, and go over all the other movies we've seen, because summer's in full swing, and I've seen a lot of great ones. I know last time we recorded, you had seen Solo, and I caught up with it soon afterwards, and I've got a big old meh to give it. So
interesting, because that's the exact same rating that I gave it. A big meh. Not an angry meh, just a straight up meh.
See, and some of the movies we've seen, and I mean we'll talk about Jurassic World, I'm sure, but like some of them aren't even like so bad they're good. They're just like boring to talk about, and that's kind of how Solo is. It's just like, it's not terrible enough to be a train wreck, but it's not interesting,
Yep, I could not agree with you anymore. It's I've talked about it on the other show to a great detail, and it got brought up again last week on the show that meh. It's not really interesting to talk about because I feel like it's just a complete wash. What are you going to do?
What are you going to do? A few of the other ones I saw, did you ever see Upgrade?
I did, and I adore that movie. It was on my top 10 of the year so far.
Top 10 of the year. I thing is, I've seen a lot of good movies this year. I don't think it was quite on my top 10, but it was a very fun movie. It's kind of like Her, the cop movie. It's a buddy cop movie or something like that. But yeah, it's a lot of fun.
It is. I highly recommend it. It has a very good ending. So if you are still waiting to see this, I know it's borderline independent film. It's written and directed by the guy that helped make all the other James Wan films. He helped make the Insidious movies and all that stuff. So it's a smaller release. So a lot of people listening to this maybe didn't get around to seeing it. And I have to say the ending is a very twisty, spoiler-esque ending. So if you are looking to watch this or purchase it or rent it in the next few weeks or month when it comes out, don't read too much about it, because I do think that the ending is brilliant. So I really, really enjoy the ending.
But yeah, even without the ending, if like some people I was with didn't really like the ending, but I won't get into why they didn't like it on the air. But I liked it, and Steve C liked it, which is all that matters. But the rest of the movie was such a fun ride that they still liked the movie. So
yep, I like that. Good review.
And speaking about fun rides, some rides don't end as well, like in Hereditary.
Okay, so now you're talking about one of my favorites of the year. I believe I just did this list on my other show, top 5 of the year, and I think this was my number 3 or 5. It's my this is dark to say. This is my kid's favorite movie of the year. We've seen it. We have seen it 3 times, and I gave you a very early prediction on your movie going experience of it. I had a unique experience being that we saw it about a week early at the Alamo Draft House. They monitored our heart rates so that they could use it as a marketing campaign. And while ours weren't as crazy enough to be used on their, poster slash, their marketing campaign, it was a lot of fun. And seeing some of the people there, and we did a Q&A with the filmmaker afterwards, which was kind of interesting. But to get to the review itself, I obviously loved this movie, and it stuck in my head. It made me think about other films that were just as impactful in the history of this sort of genre. And I'm not going to spoil anything here, but if you try to describe this film to someone, I would say it's a very slow burn with I would say, in my opinion, a very, I don't know, not thoughtful, but a very thought-provoking ending. And I picked up more every time that I saw it. And I think the acting in it was fantastic. I was very, very happy with the film. So dark, scary, ominous. And the hard thing is, if I'm going to try to relate it to another film, I don't want to do spoilers, because I tried to tell Steve-O what film I thought it was most similar to, but you can't really say that, or else it kind of gives away the ending. So I'm just going to leave it at that. I highly recommend it. And I'm waiting for yours now. I feel like you're going to be on the opposite side.
Maybe we'll discuss what movies it reminds us of afterwards. But I also loved this movie. I've only seen it. I've only seen it the one time, but it was filmed in Utah, and some of the things I live in Utah, you guys. So like some of the places looked kind of familiar, and this is one I really did want to see again, but with our schedule, it just hasn't worked out. So maybe it'll be something we do on Halloween. Jessica.
No.
I'm gonna pull my wife Jessica real quick. Hey, Jess.
Don't put her on.
No, I'm not gonna put her on. Anyways, she didn't hate it like you predicted she would.
I did.
She was, thought about it. My mother-in-law absolutely hated it. She prefers nice, fun movies, which good for her.
Okay, well, I get that's different. I know your wife sort of critique on most films, and I immediately was like, nope, she's gonna hate this. Your mother-in-law, on the other hand, I did not predict her rating, so I can't be responsible for hers.
Yeah. So yeah. Yeah, this one is. I mean, there have been a lot of good ones, like this and Annihilation are probably up in my top few movies, along with another movie I saw in the past month.
Skyscraper, you're number 1 for the year. I know.
How did you guess? I mean,
because I know your taste.
Neve Campbell has been off our screens for far too long.
Said Scream 4.
Yeah.
Black Swan.
But yeah, I did actually see Skyscraper. Did you see that?
No, you could not pay me for an evening out to go see that movie. I'm sorry. Not to be rude, but I could. Yeah. I just don't have any interest.
Skyscraper was fun enough. Not quite die-hard fun, but it's fun. Anyways, right, it's the kind of thing my mother-in-law would like. They also liked Ocean's 8, and I also enjoyed Ocean's 8 as well.
I did see this, and I will tell you, I was not upset.
Yes. It's a pleasant, fun movie,
Yeah. I found the cameos to be incredibly well done. As a matter of fact, the ending of the movie had me on the edge of my seat, because I thought for sure there would be another cameo, and there wasn't. It made a decent amount of money to where I'm curious if they're going to make another one and have that said cameo be a part of the film. I'm very curious about where it's going to go, but I thought that they were all really great. I was once again just smitten with Cate Blanchett, and it was a fun go around. I don't think I would go see it a second time, like on my own, just for fun. But yeah, I did see it and I was not upset. I was going into it expecting to hate it, mostly just because I don't like the idea of people trying to recreate one of my favorite films ever. And the Ocean's films are some of my all-time favorite heist movies. So kind of taking that vibe annoyed me. But this time I was not let down. Like I was with Ghostbusters, this was not that. So they actually did a good job and I was impressed. It was actually made by the person Hunger Games movie. So
Yeah. And I guess he's good.
Filmmaking, but
Yeah, he's good friends with Soderbergh, so
yeah.
that may have had something to do with it. I think MVP status goes to Anne Hathaway, though. She's so much fun in this movie.
She is, and I didn't want to talk too much about her because the ending with her is fantastic. She's adorable and funny, and her lines are great, and she's clever and witty. People might have, and I'll just tell you this real quick.
Do you know why this film was called Ocean's 8?
No, why don't you tell me?
Well, the rumor is, you know how there was Oceans 11, 12, and 13? Mm-hmm. Well, now if this one's a hit, we can have Oceans 8, 9, and 10.
Well, that would be really great. I like that. And I'll be honest, I would look forward to a sequel to this. If they did an Ocean's 9, the same ladies doing it, I'm all in. I thought it was a lot of fun, enough to go see a sequel. So
okay,
well,
let's see what else is on my list here. Did you see Hotel Artemis?
I did not. It was on my list of most anticipated, and when I heard everyone say it was just the worst, I slid it off my list and have not yet seen it.
It's not the worst. It was a fun thing. I mean, not many people saw it. Jessica in our other show tuned in to see where we're at there. She's still decimating me as far as the box office goes because she had Incredibles 2 on her list. But she also had Hotel Artemis, which I'm hoping will give me a room to catch up. But yeah, it was a fun movie. It wasn't quite as interesting as I hoped it would be, but you got a really fun cast. You got like Jodie Foster and Jeff Goldblum and Dave Bautista and Sofia Boutella. You know, it's a fun hang movie. So,
all right.
Hospital for Criminals, which is, and it's a fun concept. So, although I will say, Charlie Day is unbearable in it.
That sucks.
Yes,
I am quite a fan of his. So,
yeah, him in that and Pacific Rim Uprising has not been a good year for Charlie Day on the big screen.
I would not see Pacific Rim Uprising if you paid me for an evening dinner. I would just not see it. I don't care.
Yes, and you mentioned some film was the worst film of the year, and I was like, well, oh yeah, he hasn't seen Pacific Rim Uprising. But yeah, what is the worst film of the year?
Wait, the worst film of the year, like as of I've seen it recently?
Or what was it? Maybe it was one that you brought up last year. Was it Solo or?
No, I don't mean to blow up your spot. I just don't remember. I have a list of other ones that I've seen this month, but that is not the one. Solo's just not good. It's not great.
Oh, maybe it was good. Jurassic World.
There it is. Nice segue. So I have a few that we haven't talked about yet. That is one of them. I talked about it on my other show, so I always feel like I'm repeating what I just listened to the other show that I do, or watch it on YouTube. But I have to say, Jurassic World is one of the worst films I've seen in a long time. And all I'm going to say is the worst plot line in history. It is just, I find it to be simply offensive to the senses. Like, when we watch this movie, I understand. So Steve-O liked it because of the same reason he likes the Transformers films. You know, it's robots fighting each other. How can you not like that? It's dinosaurs fighting. How can you not like that? That I can kind of submit to. But when plotline, I'm just out. I check out, early checkout. I leave the key at the desk and I get out because that is the dumbest thing I've ever seen. And I am just annoyed. It's that bad. I hate it. I hate it.
My wife Jessica is on the same page as you. I was expecting this to be a turd. So like when I saw it, I won't say I wasn't I didn't not like it. I was just like, this is not quite as terrible as I thought it would be. I think I like it slightly better than the first Jurassic World.
Ouch! That's insane.
Yeah, well, the thing with the original Jurassic World is I did not like Chris Pratt and Bryce Dallas Howard. They have like no chemistry. They also have no chemistry in
Agreed.
this one. But the thing I do like about it is I think the direction is better. Like the plot is incomprehensible, but there are a few very effectively plot or scenes that are well put together as a film. So I was appreciating that. I think I felt a little more backstory with this guy whose best friend is a raptor. But aside from that, it was I'm with you. It was not great.
A raptor. It was bad. It was bad, and I went and saw it, and I'm very overly critical. And I saw it with my wife, and we both hated it. So I told my sister, and brother-in-law that it was not good. I expected them to go see it just to spite me, to say that they liked it, and they both came back and were like, that is the worst thing I've ever seen. They all hated it. The only person I know that actually has an upbeat attitude about it is Steve-O. So, not a big fan. I've seen 1, 2, 3, 4 other ones you haven't mentioned. One of them is older, but I saw on a flight just recently, I saw the Christian Bale film Hostiles. I really wanted to see that in theaters. Did you see it or no?
I have not seen that yet. That's one of those that just kind of went past. And I was just like, is there a point in catching up with it?
Oh yeah,
is there?
It's a good watch. He's fantastic. The cinematography is gorgeous and just interesting in general. So I would say watch that. I saw with very high hopes, and I was not let fun way. We are Boston Celtics fans, and we were very excited to see Uncle Drew starring the very famous A-list celebrity actor / athlete Kyrie Irving.
I saw Uncle Drew too.
So did
Uncle Drew is awesome.
We all just had a blast. I understand that it's shticky and kind of dumb. A great time. We laughed a lot. All of the stuff that you would expect to be jokey and dumb was jokey and dumb, and it was just adorable. I actually think that the development and some of the inside jokes, there's a joke about Get Out that I laughed way harder than I should have, and we all liked it. So Uncle Drew was a big hit for us. Not going to be Oscar worthy, but it was a hell of a lot of fun.
Yes, Uncle Drew is awesome. I will say none of the basketball players are convincing as old people, but that is beside the point.
No.
Especially Uncle Drew.
Yeah, exactly.
He is not. You said actor, and I was like, "Oh, that's a stretch." But it was a fun movie, and I loved it.
He has an IMDb profile now, so that is an actor. That's the starting point guard for the Boston Celtics this year. I saw Ant-Man and the Wasp, which I have talked about in great detail. Actually, my show that I did this on YouTube has a lot of hits, so I don't know if, again, to repeat myself, if you guys have already heard me, I won't go on too long about it. But I liked it. I didn't out of my seat, but I do love the direction that they went with this. And I have to say that it has the best post-credit scene in Marvel history yet. It gives me the chills. Watching it, I found a link to watching it on YouTube, and I just think it's nothing but brilliant. So I am a fan of where they went with this, and to Cliff Notes it, I think that it's great, not to be a pun, but when we just saw the biggest Marvel film in history, to go from something that's dealing with stories and interdimensional worlds and universes and other planets to a story like Ant-Man that only deals with pretty much 1.5 families is a refreshing sort of take on the Marvel world. You went from really big to really small, and I just think it was really great. So did you see it?
Yeah, I saw it. It was fun.
Yeah, I don't disagree. It was nothing that you are going to talk about later. I just thought that the post-credit scene was great, and I liked the shift. I thought it was refreshing. And then the last one that I saw we didn't talk about was Sorry to Bother You, and you and I talked about it off air. You have not yet seen this, so I'm going to keep it very short and just say it is the most bizarre film. when you try to compare it with other films, the only thing I can think of that really wraps your mind around how weird it is something like Being John Malkovich or something really out there like that. So I highly recommend you go see it, and we talk about it next month.
Yeah, I hear the ads keep describing it as like Spike Lee meets Spike Jones. So that's
that is. If not seen that, that is the perfect definition of what this movie is. It's exactly what it is, with Charlie Kaufman writing it. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yep, let's see. There's a few smaller films that I saw that you haven't mentioned. First one is the one I was hinting at, which is movies. I saw Paul Schrader's First Reformed.
Never even heard of
it. And it's got Ethan Hawke and Amanda Seyfried in it.
Yes, I have.
A lot of people have been comparing it to Taxi Driver, which I actually have not seen yet. We're working on our top 10 list, but that's one of my blind spots. But I really liked First Reformed. It's a really interesting piece. It's like about this priest who's working with this young family, and they're worried about like one of the young husband in this family is like despairing because of the state of the world, and it goes into some weird places, and I was just on board for all of it. It's not one I would take my mother-in-law to, but it's I'd be really interested to see what you think of it, so if you ever catch up with it on DVD or on a plane. So
it was on my radar, so if I get a chance I will definitely see it. I like Ethan Hawke a lot.
Yeah, he was really good. Amanda Seyfried was really good too, and it was kind of weird because he's not listed as he's listed by his real name in the credits, but like another one who's in the cast and it's like that guy looks familiar. Cedric the Entertainer is in it as well as another priest. Okay. So, and he's actually really good too. And I was confused because he goes by like his real name in it, and it's like Cedric something. Who's that guy? Why is he getting like top billing? And it's like, and then it clicked for me. Oh, that guy. I saw "Won't You Be My Neighbor," the Mr. Rogers documentary.
Yeah.
And I cried and felt safe. And
it's a fantastic documentary. As a matter of fact, if any other documentary this year wins the Oscar for that category, it'll just be a joke. It was a very well made film, and I was more impressed with the way that they spliced it together and the story that it told, sort of progressing through his life, which is obviously what they do, but just a great story of a person, and it makes you sort of long for the time when we had more people like that. So it's really good. I liked it a lot. Well-made film.
And then I saw, it's like kind of a pseudo documentary / narrative film called American Animals. Which is, it's a few of the cast members are Evan Peters, who was like Quicksilver in then Barry Keoghan, who was in Killing of a Sacred Deer and Dunkirk.
Yep.
And it's like about these students, and they're like counterposed with like the real people who were involved in it. So they're telling their side of the story as well, but they're also reenacting it in the same point. It kind of blurs the line between documentary and narrative film. And it's about these college kids who are trying to pull off a heist at a library to steal some rare books. And it was an interesting thing. It's very well directed. I don't think there have been too many good movies for it to be on my top 10 list or anything, but it was a well-made film. And then we saw Leave No Trace, which is the newest film from Deborah Granick, who did Winter's Bone. Did you ever see that one?
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, and it's a very different thing. It's a bit more, less dark, I guess. Well, it's still kind of depressing, but it's not as intense as Winter's Bone. It's about like this father and daughter, and the father is Ben Foster, and the daughter, I want to say the actress's name is like Thomasin McKenzie or something like that. Okay. But she's fantastic. She's like the new Jennifer Lawrence of this thing. And they're basically like a couple of people, and he has PTSD. He can't really interact with people, so he goes and lives in a state park, kind of off the grid and stuff like that. And it's about and then they're brought in and try to acclimate to a society and stuff like that. And it's a sad movie, but it's like really impressive because see a lot of good people in it. So that's what we ended up seeing instead of Sorry to Bother You. So I'm not sorry that I saw that, but I'm sorry I didn't get to see Sorry to Bother You.
Well, that's okay.
And there's
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say there's one more big movie I'm pretty sure you've seen that I've seen too.
Am I forgetting one? Go for it.
The just Incredibles 2, which I also loved.
I've seen that twice, so I forgot that we hadn't even spoken about that. I love this movie. I like it a lot. I think that if you're talking about sequels and how you do them, especially in the world of Pixar, and you forget that it's been 14 years since we saw the original one, which is one of my top 3 favorite animated films of all time, or Pixar films, and you go into this sort of forgetting it's been that long. Wow, what a great way to take it. I have some problems with it that sometimes still bother me, but they're so minute that they're not even worth being brought up. I thought that it was a lot of fun, a lot of heart, great development, and give me some more Frozen. Where's my super suit? Freaking hilarious.
You better be back, ASAP.
Yep, ASAP.
Where you going, ASAP? Yep. I loved it. I had a big goofy grin on my face during the whole thing, and yeah, it's fantastic. I could wait another 14 years for one, or I could have it tomorrow. It's either or.
Yep, I hear you.
They don't have to wait. So yeah, those are all the movies that we've seen. Anything else popping up before we get to?
No. If you're looking at a timeline and listening to this, I don't know when it'll be posted, but I think this is pretty much the tailor-made ending show of the season. We have this Friday is Mission Impossible. Other than that, we are rapidly approaching the end of the year, and I don't really know if there's anything else really out to discuss, I guess you could say.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
I will say, I know you said you had no interest in it, but the more I see the trailers, the more I'm excited for the Meg. That one looks like it could be a lot of fun.
I completely disagree. On many different levels, and not to be hostile, you could not force me to see this. I won't see it. No way, no shape or form. Jason Statham and I are never going to be bros. So.
All right. Well, that one and Crazy Rich Asians looks great too. So,
I'm not really that excited about that either, but I don't really know that much about it. So, that being said,
the summer is just heating up.
Yeah, agreed. Just make sure you check out Steven. Our feed is on there. I don't remember how to look at, but we just had Comic-Con this weekend and saw a whole bunch of trailers for things that are coming out, like you get at Comic-Cons. But I'll be honest, I think we should all have our for the Fantastic Beasts sequel. I think the trailer is outstanding, and I think is going to go into a really cool direction. So I don't know if you've seen it yet, but I would recommend watching that. The trailer for Godzilla, really fun. It reminds me, obviously, it doesn't remind me. It's the whole point is that it brings you back to the time when you used to dance with your father on the couch, like I used to do, because now you're bringing in all these other monsters, which is great. So it's just a good time. So I hope you guys check it out, and I'm looking forward to a lot of stuff coming up. So this has been an interesting Comic-Con. Ready to go.
I think what has me most excited for the Meg is there was a poster at the theater, and it said "Opening Wide August." So, and as long as they keep those shark puns coming, as long as they keep those shark puns coming, opening wide. Anyways, speaking of opening wide, it's time to open wide and get this over with.
I love that you just did that transition.
So my history with this, I didn't actually get to see this film in a theater. I was actually on my mission for our church, so I was spent my 2 years, just focusing on the work.
Doing something slightly more productive than seeing this.
Yes. So, maybe I dodged a bullet, but I also had to wait to see The Dark Knight, so that was the sacrifice I made for God. But
real quick, we just rewatched that the other day. Can you imagine that it's the 10-year anniversary, obviously, of both of these, but it's been 10 years since Nolan's Dark Knight. Isn't that crazy?
Mm-hmm.
It's the release, like you just said, but wow, 10 years.
It's been 10 years from this one.
Yeah.
The Russian dude in Ant-Man was the guy who Harvey Dent was torturing in that, we're planning to torture in that one scene with his coin. So,
yep. Oh yeah.
Anyways, so I kind of want you to introduce. What was it like? I'm assuming you saw this in theaters.
So hold on a second. So just to be clear, I want everyone listening to this to understand that obviously I'm since beginning, and the first film that did it for me besides E.T. and Jaws was Indiana Jones, and I have all of them memorized. So the idea that they brought it back was huge. In the small, I don't want to say small town because it's just a suburb of Phoenix that I live in called Surprise. They built a brand new movie theater, the first movie theater on this side of town, and it was built upon the idea. Thank you. It was built upon the idea that the new theater was going to open the night of Indiana Jones, Crystal Skull. So I went there 5 hours early. They, no joking around, had a red carpet. Here they had spotlights. It was a huge deal. The mayor of our little town was there. Council people were there walking the red carpet because it was a big deal that we had a movie theater out here now. It was a whole thing. So not just to amp up the idea that we're so pumped for the movie, there's this spectacle of my anticipation of this can't be understated. I was shot out of a freaking cannon for this movie. Like,
were you shot out of a freaking fridge?
Yeah, exactly. So just to be trailers for this, not only was I excited because it's Indiana Jones and Harrison Ford, and at the time Shia LaBeouf when he was actually doing great things, and one of my top 5 favorite female actors of all time, Cate Blanchett. I am done. I am absolutely in, and I'm ready to go. Sitting outside in the heat for 5 hours waiting to go see this, I am not even remotely joking around. My hype was about as high as it's been. Outside of Star Wars and Guardians, I can't excited. And this was up there. I have only walked out of one movie in my entire life, and that movie was when I was in high school, and the girl I went with wanted to leave, and it was a movie called Primary Colors, and we walked out, and it wasn't really my call, but I have never wanted to walk out of a movie in my entire life until this moment. This was insane to me. You just segued into the funniest joke. I mean, the fact that you can survive a nuclear explosion in a fridge, and the film opens up with this panning, like, wide shot of groundhogs, ants in this hill, and the monkeys swinging from the trees. Some of the worst CGI. Favorite moment in history is a scowling an angry alien zoom with the worst ending I've ever seen. I can't really put it into terms. It could be because of my hype, but I was more let down by this film in any film I've ever seen in my entire life, which is why I've been so excited to talk about it with you, is because I don't take this movie-going experience lightly at all. This broke my heart. I know that sounds dramatic, but knowing where I came from, this was a game changer, and it really changed the game.
Did you ever see that South Park episode?
Mm-hmm.
They're talking about their friend who got raped, and it cuts to Indiana Jones, and then George Lucas and Steven Spielberg are like, get behind him at an arcade and just
yes.
So my perspective of this was interesting because like I'd heard that people didn't like it, and I'm trying to remember what my mind frame was going into it. Maybe I was thinking maybe it's not as bad as they say it is, but also the first time you see Harrison Ford in it, you're like, how is this man gonna do Indiana Jones stuff without breaking a hip? And that's the only thing I thought of when he was going through it. Kind of the same with The Last Jedi too, although he didn't really do a lot of that running around. But I mean, I guess he did like shatter a leg in making the not Last Jedi,
Yeah.
Force Awakens.
Nope. Force Awakens, a door closed on him in the Millennium Falcon. So yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, but yeah, let's start at the beginning. The first scene, and I'm guessing that Spielberg probably was doing this to kind of set the theme. It's like this isn't World War II era anymore. This is the 50s with Richie Cunningham and the Fonz and all those other
Yes.
dudes.
And leather jackets with the collars popped and greased back hair. Yes, we are slightly later than the last time you saw Indy. You're exactly right.
Yeah, and I was kind of getting bored because I was thinking of the ways that these Indiana Jones films have opened. You know, in the first one, we've got the fantastic,
Yep.
going through the cave with Alfred Molina, throw me the whip, throw me the idol, I'll throw you the whip, type of thing. Temple of Doom, obviously the least successful of the first series, but it had a musical number, which in China, which I don't know, and then for Last Crusade we get River Phoenix, young Indiana Jones totally kicking trash and stuff like that. And
Yep.
then in this one we just get a drag race and Elvis, which I don't know, it's okay,
Yep.
but groundhogs. So it's just like I might have preferred them to open at at the later point, but I just lost my patience for it. And it's like, okay, let's get to the good stuff. And then I
Yep.
guess you get the Russians who can just go right onto a base for some reason because they want something. They want an alien body, I guess.
Yeah.
What do they want, Steve? I just watched this the other day. I can't.
Yeah,
Why do they have to go?
that's exactly what they want. And then at the end, it leads to a cyclone pool of crystal alien skulls. And the fact that you watch this whole thing and it comes out to be aliens, and then the aliens, the crystal comes. Oh, God, I'm jumping the gun a little bit, Steve. I'm sorry. This movie really gets me worked up because I'm so mad.
Mm-hmm. So I'm gonna just come out and say what I don't hate about the movie. I
Okay.
don't hate Shia LaBeouf. I think
Neither
honestly,
did I.
I think Shia LaBeouf might even be the best part of this movie. Which is shocking. Like I think the worst ham in it is probably Ray Winstone. I mean, he's like a leprechaun or something. He's like, oh, gold, I like gold.
I like
you know,
gold. Yeah.
it's like I'm a spy. I'm not a spy. I like gold. Give me more gold. It's like, what is this guy? Then like Jim Broadbent is supposed to be filling in for Denholm Elliott, which I get he's dead, but then we're like supposed to care who Jim Broadbent is, and I was like, I don't care who Jim Broadbent is.
Right.
Why are we even going back to this? Yeah, I did not hate the nuking the fridge scene. I feel like the parts I liked about this movie are when it just got batshit insane. I like to know I kind of like that scene where he's like in the middle of this thing and it's like, I gotta go somewhere to survive this blast. I thought it was like, okay, this is kind of interesting here. Like the action scene so far had been kind of disappointing because someone who kind of looks like Indiana Jones is running around and then occasionally you'll cut to Harrison Ford who is hobbling around and yeah. Kate Blanchett is in the Chekhov School of Russian accents.
Yeah.
The nuclear vessels. Just like I'm trying to determine. It's like I wonder how hard she worked on this accent, and then if she just like started watching Rocky and Bullwinkle cartoons and went with that.
That's hilarious.
But yeah, she is not good in this movie.
You know what? You know how you just said you don't hate Shia. Most people unanimously do. I don't hate him either. But I also don't think that Kate Blanchett's that bad. That being said, I have a major crush on Kate Blanchett. So she could be in a commercial for toilet paper, and I would think that she's Oscar worthy. So my bias speaks very loudly. So I hate the scene that you said you didn't mind. I thought it was ridiculous and laughable and just complete waste of time. I thought that the shift of time period wasn't so great, but also not so bad. You know, what are you going to do, give or take? But I will tell you, some of the really, really awful parts to me were, like I said earlier, some really horrible CGI. The story progressed in such a bad way that the CGI was just supplementing how horrible it looked. When they got into a Jeep chase with monkeys and things, and Shia swinging around is just it's just a train wreck. The one of the things I have to say was interesting as hell to me is, as someone like I'm not exaggerating it. I had been pumped up for this movie for as long as I can remember. Indiana Jones is a very important part of my sort of life, and especially the third one. I think that the third film is one of the best sequels ever made, way better than The Godfather 2. Don't get me started in what's the better sequel. So I could go on that list all day. So finding another one after this was a really big. When you read about how incredibly difficult it was, and now we're going to get into a little bit of the stuff that you didn't know maybe. They had such a hard time finding a writer for this film. M. Night Shyamalan submitted a script they entertained using for a significant portion of the pre-production. They asked for a script from M. Night Shyamalan and entertained it. What I can't even tell you I would pay to see the M. Night Shyamalan script for this film. I'm telling you right now, dude, name a price. If I can afford it, I will absolutely pay just to read it once. Because I would love to know how other people dealt with this. And it's definitely better. It's definitely better. Any script is better than this. And this script is written by Spielberg and David Koepp. David Koepp helped write Mission Impossible and Jurassic Park. Here's another little interesting tidbit. After all of that, everyone hated this movie. I'm telling you, I haven't met one person that thought it was passable. Everyone I know hates this movie. This is the only Indiana Jones film that was not nominated for any Oscars. Not a one. And the last 10 seconds of this movie were so bad, it to me was nope, I'm out. You throw your hat and you just leave and you're gone. It was so cheesy and so shtick and so bad. It leaves a gaping hole in my soul. I hate this movie so much. It's that bad. That being said, the idea of them getting ready to make another one, and they have pushed it back twice. Now we're looking at 2021. We're talking 3 years from now. They keep pushing it back, and I think they're pushing it back for a reason. I also think that Spielberg is adamant that they get it right to sort of get back his rep, because I really do think that this movie burnt a bridge with most people, especially people in my age and yours that knew the originals, knew who it was, and how we valued it. And then you saw this flaming pile of garbage hit the screen. It's just offensive to all the senses. It's hard for me to stay on track because I hate this movie so much. It's just it hurts my feelings that this movie exists.
So while you've been going off, I think I remembered the thing that I most hated. You know, we were talking about how we don't care about Jim. I don't care about Jim Broadbent's character. He's just a stand-in for someone who wasn't there.
Yeah.
But someone who did come back, who was just very disappointing, is Marion Ravenwood.
Oh,
yeah. Yeah, that they have no chemistry in this.
No,
like they're trying they're trying to tie something back from Raiders, but and then they get married at the end. Like they had no chemistry. Like at one point he calls her babe, and I'm
this
just
is the scene I'm talking about. Yes, this is the scene that broke my heart. By the way, this is what we're talking about. The same scene. Yeah.
Like by that point, at the end of the movie where the hat rolls away and then Mutt picks it up,
yes,
I was ready, and it was like, you know what? Yeah, just take that and run, Shia LaBeouf. This franchise needs to get away from that and just keep going. But when Harrison Ford takes it back, and it's like, no, you need to retire, please.
Yeah. Well, I'll disagree. I don't think that Harrison Ford is the problem. And as a matter of fact, I think that he desperately needs to be in the next one, either to properly segue off into the next one, whether it's Indiana Jones or, Diana Jones, or however we're going to go forward from here. Disney is obviously.
I like Diana Jones.
On this. Yeah, I would not mind that as long as it's written by the right person, because sadly we're still in this time where female action people don't quite put asses in the seats. Tomb Raider was a giant flop. Actually, all
And
of them were. This new one was just abysmal and disappeared. And as long as they do it correctly, I think that it'll be just fine if they find the right person. So I think
yeah,
that's what they're waiting for.
let's focus on another one of Indy's bastards.
Yeah, exactly. So my whole my I'm gonna wrap this up. My opinion, because I feel like I've ranted about it too much. I feel like this whole movie is something that they're going to do. Now, if you follow new movies coming out soon, I don't know if you've paid attention, but they are doing Halloween again. And this year, Halloween comes out with Jamie Lee Curtis, directed by a guy that's never done one of these before, but I'm very excited for it. And what they decided to do was forget that anything after Halloween 1 existed. And I mean all of them. For Halloween 2, Halloween H2O, none of them, including H2O, which had Jamie Lee Curtis in it. They're forgetting that those existed. They're going to give them what they call like a shout out in the movie. So that means a little Easter egg or whatever. But they're going on as if Michael Myers got shot out of the window, fell on the ground, and then in their minds, what they're saying is he got arrested right then and there. So why this is relevant is I believe that they can't quite do that with the next Indiana Jones. I don't think you can forget that the movie existed, but I also don't think you can really touch on it very much. I think you have to go in your own direction and maybe just nod. Give it a little tasteful nod that the Crystal Skull existed, and then that is it. Because I think that everyone involved in this wished that they weren't involved in it. I think Harrison Ford wishes he wasn't involved. I think Spielberg, this is the biggest black eye in his career. I believe that DreamWorks in general wants a take back. And when they go forward with the new one that now is 100% Disney owned outright with no questions asked, is which it always was, but now it's really no questions asked. I think that they're going to go forward with this, pretending that this movie didn't exist. And for the
and so will we.
Yep.
What were we just talking about?
I forget.
I forget.
Warhorse?
Yeah.
No, Tintin. Tintin. No.
Well, yeah. Since I don't remember it, maybe we'll do that again next week. But yeah,
okay,
so
sounds good.
I don't know what we were just talking about, but for some reason, something about a skull is coming to mind because I did a quiz of movies based on body parts.
See, I'm going to tell you right up, Steve. You're the host of this show, and I just help out. I don't like doing trivia because I am so uncreative. You just nailed it. Body parts? Let's freaking do this.
All right. So each of these titles has a body part in it. Maybe not. Maybe it's inserted in a word. So keep that in mind. So
body parts and insertion. This is going to be hot. Let's go.
Inserted body parts. All right. So number one, this film from also 2008. Also stars Shia LaBeouf and Michelle Monaghan, and they're manipulated by some lady mysteriously calling them.
I love this movie. Hey, done? Or are you going to do it?
Oh, sorry. What was that? I think it cut out for a sec, so.
Oh, I was going to let you read the whole thing out because I
oh, no, that's it. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, this is Eagle Eye, and someone cool directed this, right?
DJ Caruso, the guy who did not Suburbia.
Okay.
Disturbia.
Well, I don't. Oh, that makes sense then because Shia was in that and it was great. I love this movie. It's one of my favorite Blu-rays because it looks really pretty on screen. I love Michelle Monaghan a lot in a very borderline scary way. She's gorgeous and she's such a great actress. She's fantastic. This is a great movie. I love it. So go ahead. I got Eagle Eye. What's next?
Amen. All right. This 2014 film stars John Hamm, who goes to India to recruit cricket players for Major League Baseball.
Oh my God. This is a Disney film.
It is.
It's about pitchers. Something arm. Because it's a pitcher. They're the cricket kids are coming over and they can throw wicked hard for something arm.
How much money would you give for that arm?
Is it $1 million arm?
It is $1 million arm.
It is $1 million arm. That's hilarious. God, that's interesting. I like that. All right, go ahead. Good job.
All right.
Well, this is
In
fun.
this 1997 movie, John Travolta and Nicolas Cage are a cop and criminal who swap identities.
Oh my God, one of my favorite films one of the best action movies I've ever seen. This is Face Off, and it's directed by John. Is it John Woo? Yeah, John Woo.
John Woo, yeah.
And I love this movie. Fantastic movie.
All right. In 1989, Daniel Day-Lewis won his first Oscar for playing painter Christy Brown, stricken with cerebral palsy.
My left foot does the other. Yep, got
it. All right. So this is where I think we're going to get interesting.
Yeah. Those were softballs. I knew it. Now it's going to get weird.
Softballs. All right. In the year 2000, down-and-out golfer Matt Damon receives guidance from Will Smith's mystical caddy.
Wait a minute. Hold on a second. How is that a body part? That's the Legend of Bagger Vance.
Or do you mean the leg end of Bagger Vance?
Oh my God. Steve, I am slow clapping you right now. That is one of the funniest things you've ever done on this show. That is hilarious.
Oh, wait for it.
That means the rest is going to be really obscure. Okay, let's do All right, go. Now I'm pumped.
Okay, actually, this next one is my favorite, so I'm going to save it for the end. So, number 7. In 1966, this legendary bad movie, which is a staple for Riff Tracks and Mystery Science Theater 3000, surrounds a family kidnapped by the Master and his assistant Torgo.
Huh, wow, hold on a second. Actually, you're kind of blowing my mind right here. So right when you said I thought you were going to say that something like the Room, like Disaster Artist, whatever. Then you have what's the other one? With the Plan 9 from Outer Space. Now 9 Outer Space out. No, that's not it. What is it, man?
It's not that.
Now I'm stuck. Okay.
Oh man.
What is it?
You're so close. It's Manos, the Hands of Fate.
This is taking a sharp left turn, and I love this list. All right, keep it going.
All right.
Oh, this is too much.
Another notoriously bad movie from 2003. Gary Oldman and Matthew McConaughey played twin brothers, but one of them is a full-blown dwarf.
What? Hold on a second. Matthew McConaughey, Gary Oldman?
Yes.
Hold on a second. Gary Oldman in 2003. So we're talking before.
Gary Oldman is a full-blown dwarf in this movie.
And he's a dwarf. Okay, so this is before Batman. I don't know. What is this?
This is a film called Tiptoes.
Okay, I have not seen this before.
It is notorious. So
Tiptoes. All right, I like this.
I was torn between this one or Fried Green Tomatoes. So
it's so stupid. I love this. It's so dumb. All right, keep going.
All right, next one. In 1998, Johnny Depp and Benicio del Toro take a drug-fueled trip to Nevada.
Hold on a second. Hold on a second. So let me think. I know what this is. This is Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. So let's see the Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. Get out! This is ridiculous. Now every time I see it, you saw that movie, A Beautiful Mind, where the letters are flying in my head, right? All I see now are titles and body parts flying around. Leg? No, that can't be it. That's not legs either. All right, okay, let's keep going. Just to be clear, the people listening to this, if you're not dying laughing and you're missing the brilliance of this stupid list.
All right. In 1974, Jack Nicholson is a private eye who gets his nose slashed chasing some crazy stuff in California.
All right, well, this is one of my all-time favorite movies of all time, and I'm trying to figure out here now. Don't you say it. Is it? No, that's Tao, T-O-W. No, C-H-I, T-O-W-N, China. What? How is? Where's the body part in Chinatown?
You mean Chin-a-town?
Oh my god. This This is why I'm never doing a list on this show again. I just had the word Chinatown written down on a pink sticky, and I could not see the word chin in it. This is ridiculous, Steve. Oh my God, I'm laughing way harder than I should.
All right. There's one more. I think this is really going to bring us home.
This one's better than Chinatown? There's no way that
yes.
This is ridiculous. All right.
All right. In 2004, Ashton Kutcher tries to fix his life by traveling back in time, but he keeps messing everything up.
Well, I don't even have to write it down because I wrote one letter down and I knew what you're going to do. That would be the butterfly effect, right? You're going with the straight up. You ended with the ass. The butterfly effect. Steve, you just nailed this list. This is the funniest list I've ever been a part of. Again, slow clap to you, sir. This ending of this show was so much better than Crystal Skull, I can't even tell you. Nicely done. You ended with butt from Butterfly Effect. Are you a child? I love it. God, Steve.
I did. I almost did dick, but I almost picked dick, but I thought Butterfly Effect would be funnier.
That's a little classy.
Mm-hmm. Anyways, those are body movies. You did great. So we'll see what we're doing next week. I guess
I think that a refreshing take would be Tintin. I really enjoyed Tintin, and I look forward to watching it. And we own this movie. Actually, I own this and War Horse. They're both really good, but they both came out the same day, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Well, actually, I just had a thought.
Oh,
how? Well, I'm not going to make you watch the Meg, but since I'm really excited for it, what if we keep going? Remember when we watched Jaws 2?
Do you want to do Jaws 3? What are you saying?
Yeah, let's do Jaws 3. Let's wrap up the summer with a terrible shark movie.
Oh my God, Jaws 3 is a great one. Good job, Steve. And then we'll save Tintin for the fall. Yes. Okay, I will watch Jaws 3 again. And as a matter of fact, I really look forward to it. It's Jaws week starts tomorrow on Discovery Channel. So
something
I'm pretty sure that it's going to be hard to find. Great idea. So let's do that. I concur.
And you all know me. I'm the monster who unwittingly had my wife watch Jaws 2 before she'd even seen Jaws. So
you should be arrested for that.
I'm awful. We got Dennis Quaid and
that poor woman slaves for you, and you make her watch Jaws 2 before seeing Jaws 1. You know what? Actually, I'm going to rein it in a little bit. Shame on her for not seeing Jaws before that. You know what? She's an adult. Take it on yourself. I take it back, Steve. You did nothing wrong.
Okay. Thank you. Your absolution is necessary. But anyway, so
and your sarcasm is not appreciated.
Next month, we're going to do Jaws 3D. So, yay! I've never seen it. So, we'll see how it goes.
That's going to be fun.
What else you got to plug? I know you got to go here in a sec to do some other show or something.
Yeah, and I accidentally kind of felt like I was like whoring it out the whole show. I'm not really trying to plug anything out of the norm, but YouTube under the Rez TV channel, REZD TV, and to be totally honest, our shows are blowing up on there. For quite pleased with where we're going. We get a lot of interaction, but I do a show called Mousecast where we talk about everything Disney related, parks, movies, everything. And wow, do we have some interesting topics to talk about tonight, including the heartbreaking, and I mean that genuinely, I have been conflicted about it all week about James Gunn. So if you want to know how deeply impacted I am about James Gunn and no longer being a part of the Disney franchise and Marvel, more importantly, tune in. That also, we're doing the show tonight called Teased, where we go over the trailers that just came out for Comic-Con. So any trailer that you wanted to see, tune in on YouTube. Find us on Rez TV. That's where we're at.
Sweet. And actually, you guys will probably be listening to this after that's come out. So just look it up on YouTube.
YouTube, Rez TV, REZD TV, Rez TV, and then find
a message from the past. I got my other show on the Fanitarium Network, the stuff that dreams are made of. We just last time we covered The Apartment and The Wild Bunch, and this next time
Ooh,
we're going to be.
I gotta watch your show on the Wild Bunch. That's a good one.
Yeah, my wife wasn't as into it, and it's an interesting one, but it
Okay.
wasn't quite. It was my first time seeing it, so maybe I need to see it again. But
Interesting.
next time we're going to be doing All the President's Men and Modern Times. So
Okay.
it's kind of
I
interesting, the ones that we end up pairing together. Though I think we'll do
I
the Godfather ones together.
I do have to say one thing though, real quick, and this isn't even really a plug because it's not even a plug related thing. I do have to say the Fanatarium Jeremiah's, he's been working over there, has been firing on all cylinders. If you are listening to this
Mm-hmm.
and you don't follow Jeremiah's group called the Fanatarium on Facebook, you are doing a disservice to anything. They post everything. They interact real quickly. They respond to questions and comments. They do these goofy little surveys about Disney films. Should they be in the vault or should they not be in the vault? I'll be honest, the way that they produce the Facebook feed is admirable. So if you are listening to this and you do not follow the Fanatarium, I don't know how that would happen because we're part of the network, but definitely check them out. They're doing a really good job. So Jeremiah,
Yeah.
if you are listening, kudos to you, sir. Your page is fantastic. You're doing a great job.
I've really been digging their Let's Talk Disney things going through the early aughts.
Yeah,
Disney
agreed.
films, because those are some of them are better than others, but
Yep,
yeah.
absolutely.
All right. So, anyways, as always, tune in next month for Jaws
3.
3D. I'm as always, I am Steven Sparky Parker,
I'm Steve C.
and we'll be right here.